Hi, welcome to TALRadio. I'm your host for the episode, Rajeshwari Kalyanam. Today we have with us Ms. Sujatha Venkatraman, Interim Executive Director, West Valley Community Services. She has 25 years of experience in program and policy development, and she is with West Valley Community Services for 15 years now. Today, Ms. Sujatha Venkatraman will be sharing with us the many programs of West Valley Community Services and the areas of focus and the problems and the successes in the services that they offer. Ms. Sujatha Venkatraman, we are hoping to know from your about West Valley Community Services, yes, and also about the housing problem and the focus areas. Welcome, Ms. Sujatha Venkatraman.
Thank you.
So can we just first start from your education? You've been educated in social work and you've extensively worked in this sector and as a family therapist, as a behavioral specialist, and now and also with West Valley doing all the programs. So what has been your journey like in the social work?
So thank you. I'm super excited to be here. So as you said, I started my journey in India. I studied for social work from Delhi School of Social Work in New Delhi. And there I did a lot of community-based work. It was primarily working with street children and the local nonprofits working in the slums or the very low, high poverty area in New Delhi. Did a lot of work in training and education, and then I moved to the United States. What has been my driving force has been to work in a nonprofit, a social services agency, and I've always been wanting to do that. I feel that that's my way of giving back. I value compassion and especially giving power to people. We used to say empowerment, but I like to use the word to build the power in people and community so that they can fight the issues that affect them the most.
So it's been wonderful to know about your journey, and it's been wonderful that you've studied social work and then you've been able to work in this field. And how has your association with West Valley Community Services started? Can we know more about it?
Sure. I was working in Chicago, Illinois, and my husband's job moved here. So I moved with him, and then I started looking for a community-based organization. Like I said, that has been my interest. I really believe that when agencies are locally based, they are able to make a lot of impact. And when I looked around, I found this agency, and the mission really attracted me. The mission at that time was to fight hunger and homelessness. And eventually, we changed our mission to unite the community to fight hunger and homelessness. And the mission really made an impact on me. I felt like there was so much work that needed to be done, most in the area of hunger and homelessness, and was not very shocked by the numbers I was hearing in the Bay Area. Being one of the most wealthiest cities, we were seeing at that time clients who were unable to know where their next meal is coming. They were kids who were hungry, and especially seniors who could not buy groceries because they had to decide between paying rent, their medication, or grocery. That's what attracted me. The other part of the agency that was really unique was the agencies was offering services that was all in-house. So we had a market, and then we had all these other services, whether they had to sign up for Medi-Cal, or they're looking for clothing for their child, or they're looking for a class. Everything was happening in-house. And that kind of one-stop shop model really attracted me. And I have tried to build on that in my 15 years of building programs and growing programs. That has been my focus, that the clients need to feel very comfortable. There should be dignity and respect when they come to the organization to get our services. And also these services should be available for them in-house, so that we are not sending them to multiple agencies and places, because time is very valuable. And especially when you are working 2 or 3 jobs to make ends meet in the valley, in Silicon Valley, it becomes very crucial that we are not adding another burden on them to go and see this other agency for one service and go to this other place to get another service. Our goal has been that we offer all of that, whether it's information referral or even helping them to get public benefits on our site.
As we're talking about community services, and I was reading about WV community services in your website, in your communication, dignity is one word that has been coming up a lot. I think that is one area that you focus on in all your services and programs. Can you elaborate more on that? Because compassion and dignity of the receiver, those two are have to be balanced in the right way. And how is the agency approaching it? And are you doing anything additional to ensure that?
Yes. So our mission, when I talked about, is unite the community to fight hunger and homelessness. Our vision is that every person has food on their table and every person has a roof over their head. This work is fueled by our 6 core values. And you're right, dignity is one of the value. But along with dignity, we have compassion, integrity, service, diversity, and ingenuity. And the reason why dignity for me is a very important value, because in my work, what I have seen is when we ask people in most need, that's what they are worried about. That they feel like they will be looked down, or people will question them or why they are poor. People will also doubt: are they telling us the truth? And sometimes there is shame in asking for help. We have a lot of clients who tell us, I didn't want to come to you because I didn't want to be seen poor. My neighbors and I have different, life experiences. I don't want them to know that I'm struggling. We have also heard clients say to us, I don't know whether I am poor or I'm in need. There might be some other people who are more in need. So hence, it's very important that when someone comes and asks for help, they are making themselves vulnerable. And at that time, their own self-respect and dignity is at the lowest. And our goal is when they come and ask for services or they walk into our door, they should never feel that we are treating them any less. I believe that we should be available for them, listen to them, and be part of their story and support them in this journey of trying to get back to self-sufficiency.
Absolutely. So you also spoke about bringing in the community sometime along the line. So how has that impacted your work, bringing in the whole community along with you?
So in West Valley's 50 years, community has been part of us. We are in the community. We were started in our community. So just a quick historical background: West Valley Community Services in 1973 was started by 3 public nurses. They identified in their community there was need for food. There were neighbors who are going hungry, and they started a small pantry in a garage. From there, the agency grew. We were in community centers and school. And finally, the board at that time decided to do a capital campaign. There was a conversation with the mayor of Cupertino and the county sheriff. And we got this land, which we leased from them at a very nominal rate. And we are on the county fire land, and the agency was built, the building was built, and the services were brought to the agency. So our location, where you see it, is in the agency, in the community. We are surrounded by homes and in the community, and the community has been a huge support to us. We run a volunteer program where we have, on a weekly basis, 1,000 volunteers who come and help us. And a number of programs they do. They go glean food. These are food that different stores are donating. They go get food to us. They are in the market sorting food. They are also delivering food and also helping us, making sure that we have the community is aware of the drives, so they are able to engage get food for us. We have number of neighbors who have fruit trees who go, who either the community engages, does a drive, get the fruits, or they themselves will bring fruits and educate other community members. So community is part of West Valley, and that's why our mission says that we unite the community in the fight for hunger and homelessness. And it is not about just providing service of being a volunteer. The community is heavily involved in advocacy work with us, and that's relatively new for us. But we believe that if we need to the fight for hunger and homelessness and eventually want to end hunger and homelessness, we have to make systemic policy changes. And this is where the community also steps in to help us. So we are working with them, we are educating them. They help us to pass on the message, getting the right elected officials who will vote and make policy changes in the interest of the community, which is around hunger and homelessness.
Well, in fact, you've kind of led me on to my next question that I have written down, which is that there has been a sustained effort from your end. There have been other agencies. So where are we failing in terms of creating, homes for people or reducing poverty? I just wanted to ask you, what about the policy, and are you working towards it? So would you like to elaborate more on it?
Sure. I'll parse your question because there are multiple pieces to it. So I'll start with housing and homelessness first. I believe we have made systemic errors in policies from the beginning, which have not put in effort and advocacy around the need for affordable housing and a need for inclusive community. What I mean by that is a community will be thriving when we have people of all income groups living in that community and helping it sustain. So let me give you an example. If you have a community where you need your teachers who work in your schools, they should be able to afford and live in your community. You need to have service sector people be able to live in that community and also work. What we have created is unaffordability, where what's happening in communities are your teachers, your core service providers, or even your service sector, whether it is restaurant employees or your gardener, your salon, your hairdresser, are not able to live in the community. They are commuting. And that creates an issue because now these people are not connected to the community. The same effect happens with even seniors, right? If you don't build inclusive community where all income groups, all demographics live, then you are making issues bigger, whether it is issues of traffic, transportation, or people moving out. We are talking about schools shutting down in our cities. And all this is happening is we did not have a vision for inclusive community. It's coming back. And that's what WVCS is advocating for, that if someone works in your community, should be able to live in your community. The second thing is affordable housing. We have been way behind on this and not progressive enough to think that we need affordable housing to house people. Today's homelessness problem is because we don't have enough housing. We don't have enough affordable housing. 98% of our clients are renting. And if you do not have affordable rental units, don't have enough units for our clients to live, tomorrow they are the ones who are lining up on the streets, and the homelessness count will never come down because we are not helping people prevent homelessness, and which will only happen if we have enough affordable housing where everybody in whatever income group they're able to pay their rent and be able to live in your cities, able to work in your cities, and contribute to the city's economy by being part of the city. So that's the one on homelessness. Now, of course, poverty is laden with number of other things. Firstly, if you look at income, our income for especially the low income criteria, income hasn't changed, but cost of living has. Whether it is gas prices, again, rent comes in that, but cost of food. But the incomes that people are making have not increased, and that causes an issue. The second cause of poverty is also related with other things like lack of affordable childcare. If a parent or a mother who's taking care of a child wants to enter workforce, there is no affordable childcare. I had a client once tell me, what is the point of me earning and then giving away 90 to 95% of my income to childcare? I don't know why I'm doing that. So if we have to make any dent in poverty, we have to look at income. We have to look at fair pay. We have to look at what we call as living wage that matches the cost of living of a city, affordable childcare, affordable transportation, and transportation support. We don't have enough bus lines running in our cities, so there is a higher reliability on car or having a car and driving that, and that adds additional cost. And lastly, on poverty is the divide, right, between the high income and the low income has become so big that we are unable to even fathom how we will come up with policies around eliminating poverty or eradicating poverty. For that, I feel we have to really look at public benefits and support so that we are able to shorten the gap with other services, like I talked about, earned income tax credit, childcare credit being there, food stamps assistance, and affordable childcare. Then we are able to make some impact on for clients who are extremely low income, reduce the gap a little bit. And then with affordable housing and services like we are offering, food and support, we will be able to make an impact.
Well, I also want to talk about the awareness in terms of food security, food wastage. So I was going to ask you about your different programs. So do you also focus in any of your programs the awareness of ensuring the food is not wasted and things like that, which again contribute to, I mean, food being available on everybody's table?
Right. So one of the couple of things that we are doing is like we do our grocery rescue program, and this is an initiative started by the food bank, the Second Harvest Food Bank. And in that, what we try to do is connection with our local stores. We try to make sure that any food that is still good, not expired, but they to move their inventory, it cannot be on their shelf. It doesn't go in the waste. That we are able to reuse them. So we do an initiative around that we glean from different stores nearby, and we've been able to bring the food back to our market and distribute it out. So that's one. We also do education on what food labels mean, and this has been a debate in our country for a long time. Is what is it means by sell by date and use by date. And so we also educate people that sometimes the shelf lives of food is much longer than what is there and how people can use that so there is less wastage of food. We encourage the community to donate. And also the same, we also have a program where we are asking the community, if you have produce trees, then please make sure that you have an agency like West Valley Community Services to donate that, or you are talking to your local food bank and making that connection. So we are also need to do some effort in making sure that our food is not wasted. It is not going in our garbages and eventually adding up more environmental issue, that we can reuse it in different ways.
Well, yeah, true. In fact, I also would like to ask you that one is COVID and then there's recession. All these have, of course, affected housing, and if not anything, they have increased poverty and homeless people. And again, at the same time, we also started having problem with funds coming in. So how is West Valley Community Services dealing with this?
We have been very lucky and being surrounded by community and community partners, organizations have supported us, that through COVID, we in fact got the support that we needed, and we were able to maintain the services, in fact, serve more clients during that. Because this issue is ongoing, like you said, it wasn't like, okay, the pandemic happened and then pandemic ended and everybody went back to normalcy. The clients that we serve are not there yet. Their crisis still exists. So there is ongoing need for rental assistance support. There's ongoing need for people having to come to our food markets to get food. So we are continuously educating our community, educating our donors. Last year, we saw a 40% increase in our services for food and just new clients coming and wanting services, and some 88% increase in the need for financial assistance in the form of rent, deposit, or utility assistance. So the need is still there. We are asking the community to support because we are also aware there is inflation and other things in the corporate world that's happening. So we are being very judicious in the way we are offering our services, continuing to offer those services, but also asking the community to support. For West Valley Community Services, the cities that we serve in, Cupertino, Saratoga, Los Gatos, and West San Jose, and the county has been supporting us. And along with that, many donors and community services organization know that our need will continue to grow, and the need to support basic needs in our community even becomes more critical when we hear about the overall impact of COVID, inflation, and affordability in the market.
Well, I have also seen that you do a lot. Of course, there are a lot of programs that you do, and there are a lot of initiatives that you're involved in. Are there any particular programs, immediate programs, or any of the fundraising initiatives you would like to talk with our audience about?
Sure, I can talk about the core programs that we do. So I talked a lot about the food market, and that is, we have our market in a WVCS, and we also do something that we call as our Parket Market. It's our mobile operation. It goes to different schools, to affordable housing units, to 2 of the community colleges, and it's a mobile food truck. So you open it up and it becomes like a shopping, like a market, and you can shop for your grocery. We are also involved in what is called the tenant-based rental assistance program as a way to get people who are first-time homeless or people who are currently employed but they have been evicted because of rent increases but are able to still afford rent. What we are doing for them is paying their rent for 12 months. And it's called a tenant-based rental assistance program. It's a tiered program where we provide them rental support. We get them all the supportive services that they need, whether it's income or employment and training skills. And then we slowly start to make sure that the client is able to afford their portion of the rent and we can wean off. So we are involved in that initiative. The other programs that we do is a senior transportation program called RIDE. It's Reach Your Destination Easily. And that program allows for our seniors, especially who are unable to drive or who do not have a support system like family or friends to drive them. RIDE helps them to provide affordable transportation to get to doctor's appointment, to the stores, to get a haircut, and all of these resources in the community that they would not be able to access that. Some of the new initiatives that we are involved in is called our Haven to Home Jobs program. And this is something that we've been trying as a pilot with City of Cupertino, where we are identifying 2 homeless clients who've been on the streets long, who have employment skills and are motivated to work and would like to get back into the workforce. We are training them. So WVCS provides the employment. we look at temporary housing in the form of motel or shared housing, and they are um, using that housing to be able to be stable, and then coming to West Valley to get the additional job training to move towards income stability. So that is a new initiative that we are involved in. Other than that, West Valley has been involved in educating the community, which is through workshops, training. We are also a volunteer income site where we help communities who have eligible for earned income tax, and typically they fall within the 300% of federal poverty level, are able to get taxes done for free and get their returns in different the credits that the federal government has put on so that they are eligible for that. And lastly, the initiative that we've been involved is advocacy. In the last 2 years, we have really been focusing on that. We believe that we will continue to be providing basic needs services. We will always be the safety net organization, and we will have all these core services, whether it is food, financial emergency assistance in the form of rent, deposit, or utility, case management, our mobile operation. But what is needed the most is advocacy around systems change. And that is where we have been heavily putting our resources and getting the community, our elected officials, on policy around hunger and homelessness. So we've been advocating for more affordable housing in our community, and we believe that we need to build inclusive community where all income groups are able to live and work in our community. The second initiative that we've been involved in, making sure that food stamps, or what we call in California as CalFresh, is being utilized 100%. Because I really believe that that's where we can reduce the gap, and we are able to fight hunger. In that area, we are also doing initiative of making sure our unhoused clients are having access to hot meal. As some of your listeners may not even know this, but an unhoused client can only access, even if they have food stamp, meals that are cold, and they cannot access hot meals. That's been our initiative to make sure that our unhoused population have an access to a hot meal. That makes a huge difference and also helps them, heal their body, because they sometimes have access to the most unnutritious meal when they are out in our community or unsheltered. So our work in advocacy has been the path that we are working towards, where the community can help. You can join. We have listening session, action hours, community conversations. And so if that's what your listeners are interested in, please reach out. We always have the need for volunteers. So if you are inclined to give your time to a service organization, we are here, and we are able to provide volunteer opportunities for community members as well.
That's wonderful. I hope the listeners are noting this down, and I'm sure a lot of people would be interested in doing this. You've been in this field of social work for so long, and for 15 years with WV Community Services. And let's can we end this with you telling us any particular change or transformation you have seen over the years, and if there are any major hurdles that you face today that you wish weren't there, or that you foresee with some change things can become better for the service sector?
I am very positive with the energy and the focus that is coming into our cities, especially when I see young people getting into public service and social services. So that has been very enlightening in my work, because uh, almost like we need the new generation to take on the work that we are doing. So that particularly excites me, to see that so many elected officials who are also Asian origin, Indian Asian origin, and that has been super exciting because that's how we can make systems change. Voicing your opinion, being the representative of your community, so making sure you are at the table. So that's been very exciting. And from my own personal experience as an immigrant, as a South Asian, I have been able to represent my community and also speak for those who are unable to do that. And so that kind of energy and that kind of focus and the interest in change has been energizing for me. Where the hurdles has been is on the same wavelength is community not understanding the sole cause of homelessness, and the community having all these myths around the unhoused or the homeless population. And this continuous education has been the hurdle, where we hear that people will come and talk to us and say, yes, we know that affordable housing is needed. Oh, but I just don't want it in my community. Can you build it somewhere else? So that constant conversation that we need to look at inclusive community, we have to give something to get back and make this community safer and inclusive. It has a two-way street. You have to give something also, and you need to become part of that, and you need to make your own thought process change in that. The second hurdle has been all these myths around homelessness, where people believe that an unhoused person or someone is on the streets because they're an addict or they have mental health issues, or they have caused this to themselves. And I think that's where there is a lot of learning that needs to happen. Yes, an unhoused person has or comes up with all of these issues, but that's not where they started. They were community members before. They were living, actively contributing to your community. And being homeless and being on the street has led this to these issues to come. So it's like changing your perspective on some of these issues, whether it's affordable housing or homelessness, will really help us to not have these hurdles, because it's almost like there is so much work that's happening, especially in California. We are progressive, we think outside the box, and we have data to prove that there have been successful programs run. But when we have community members or even people in the elected or public office not understanding the full scope of it and not having the growth mindset, then results in these hurdles in the work that we are doing.
Absolutely. And for those who are listening, I think there are some really wonderful stories on the website, wvcommunityservices.org. I think you've been doing wonderful job at educating people on these issues, on these hurdles. I've read a few. I'm sure there are more. So on that note, thank you so much, Ms. Sujatha Venkatraman. I think it's been really wonderful listening to you and about the amazing work, and best of luck in future and for all these programs that you're right now involved in.
Thank you so much. We are super excited. Like you said, check out our website. We have blogs we write, and I'm happy to connect with you all again. Thank you.
Thank you so much.